Hey, this is Cindy, and I'm on my last day of the 10 principles, which will help you to live your elevated dream life. And this is taken from our Salesvision Pro Games, level 3, and this is day 15. And I know, you know, we have to ask ourselves, why are we not living our dream life, or are we getting a little bit closer to it? And what am I doing to change myself? And one of the ways that we can do this is avoid negative people. Hurting people hurt other people. And a lot of negative people are also dream stealers, and they have often never achieved any dreams of their own. And so they're comfortable being uncomfortable. And you don't want to be around these types of people, but sometimes in your life, you you have family members that are that way, so you sort of have to just help a little bit, by inserting some positive things every now and then. You don't want to just push it down their throat or anything if you are a negative person. I know that for my own self, I am working on my own self to achieve another level that I want to go higher, and I'm having to do this by changing my own self. And Julian Ortega, she was a national sales director for Mary Kay, and she achieved most of her dreams in 30 years. I mean, she retired wealthy, and if I'm going to retire, I don't want to retire poor, but so many of us do that. We think we've got so much time ahead of us, when we're really taught to number our days, and that's some of the things that she did. I mean, she really organized her days. But one of the things that we have to do is we've got to guard our heart and our mind by not being around those negative people if it's at all possible. And number 10 is get rid of excuses and take responsibility for our own actions. Excuses are only lies that we tell ourselves that nobody believes but us. And it's time to start not making excuses, but making plans. Making plans to be successful. Deciding who you are in Christ. Who we are, who He says we are, not who other people say we are. Don't let anybody determine your reality. Your reality is the word that's implanted in your heart as to who you think you are. And not everybody was ingrained with positive things at an early age, between the ages of 3 and 7. And as I said, I think I somehow came to the belief that I was not important at that age. But, I'm important, and you're important. We all have things to add that might not be to other people, that might not be what each person is adding. I was thinking about it, and we were all, in my family, it was always women do the inside work, and then men, they're always outside. So I never really accepted that as part of my identity, that, hey, I could mow the yard. I had a riding lawnmower at one point. I'd never ever even been on it because I thought that's a man's job. But we've evolved so much as women, and we can do just about anything that we want to do and have the desire to do. There's no obstacles except for our own limitations that we put on our own self and our own abilities. And we can be so much more by actually planning what we want to do, and actually believing that we can do it. We can do it. And we need to do this by putting ourselves around positive people who believe in us and whom we can be accountable to for our own actions. And we've got to make a decision to grow and change. So do we want to stay where we are, or do we want to evolve into something that is so much better than what we are now? And it doesn't all happen in one night. Overnight successes are not made in one day. It's a little bit by little bit by little bit, and it grows on each other. You know, when you peel an onion, how many layers? You just keep going until you finally have the whole thing. Well, that's the way we are. We have so many layers that we can add on and evolve into being a better person. And she was saying that, that she came over here to this country with only a dream and $20 in her pocket. You know, I told somebody about this, and they said, "Oh, that only happens to them. You know, that only happens to a few people." But she was also saying that, she wanted to take care of her handicapped mom, and she had a father that was alcoholic. I sort of feel so much kindred spirit with her because, my father was alcoholic. He did get saved later on and gave his life to Jesus, and it changed him and his inside. It changed him so much. But, growing up, it did have a direct impact on me. And I love him so much. And he, he could never take back what happened as a child. And we can't use that as an excuse as to who we are and why we're doing what we're doing. What we need to do is start making plans. Don't be complacent in what what you have going on right now. We've got to make some plans because we don't have 200 years on this earth. 80 years or 90 or maybe even 100, but we've got to number our days and decide what we're going to do. I mean, I'm talking to myself. I'm not talking to you. And on the video, she asked, what were her last words after the 10 success principles? And she said, "Don't be a copycat of anyone. You were born to be an original. You don't want to become a copycat." I never really desired to be a copycat. It would be so difficult. And but I see that some people do try to be just like somebody else. But you are an original. You have so many giftings and so many great things to offer. Each of us do. And we need to build on our positive things. Like, I went to a counselor one time. He said, "Now I want you to make a list of all the good things that you like about yourself." And so instead of doing that, I started dwelling on my negative things. We've got to start dwelling on our positive things about ourselves and start building on those. What are our giftings, and start building on those. And she said that these success principles are business games that we're learning more about ourselves to achieve more and be more. They help you to be authentic, more authentic than you would even ever know. And so I'm excited to learn more and be more. And I want to thank you for listening to my video. I hope you learned a little bit. I know I did. Okay, then. Well, tomorrow's day 16. I hope you come back. It'll be something completely different because I'm through with that particular module on the 10 success principles. And it's not something that you can just think about and then throw it to the side. I mean, you've got to dwell on these things, on these success principles, because you can't, everybody's at their own level, and we've gone through some things, and so we have to start asking ourselves, I know where I'm at right now, but where do I want to be tomorrow? Okay, well, y'all have a good evening, and thanks a lot.